everyone, and welcome to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. I am Sam Sprunger, as always, joined by JW Shannon. JW, are we okay today?
Yeah, I think we're fine.
You think?
You know,
that's
I'm not
that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I'm not as suicidal as I was a couple days ago.
Well, yeah, we wrapped up the regular season, and most everybody knows watching this. The Pirates fell to Columbus Grove 48-38 in a shootout.
Right.
We mentioned right from the get-go that we're like, hey, it's okay if we have a shootout, and that's exactly what we ended up with on Friday night. Unfortunately, Bluffton ended up on the tail end, the backside of that, with a 10-point loss to Columbus Grove. This was a very perplexing game, and I'm gonna go ahead and play or talk this out. I'm gonna give you stats, and JW, you've seen them, but you can tell me how you would think this game, who had what, depend on the score. One team had 75 total plays, the other team had 31. One team had 226 passing yards. The other one had 117. One team had 270 yards rushing. The first ones were passing yards, sorry. One team had 270 yards rushing. The other team had 149. One team was 9 of 12 on third downs, and one team was 3 of 5. JW, according to those stats, who won that game? Which team had which stats?
Well, I mean, obviously the ones with the higher yardage and stuff. But
right, we left one phase out of that game. This game,
yeah, we sure did.
You're watching this. Obviously, I'm talking all those stats Bluffton had over Columbus Grove.
Right.
They had almost 2-1 on total offensive yards.
Right.
The problem came, JW. We had an interception for a touchdown. Those things happen occasionally.
Sure, yeah.
You don't necessarily hang a big thing on that. We had 2 kickoffs returned for touchdowns. One was a 97-yard return, and one was about an 84-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
Both of them by the same young man, Trevin Baxter. One whale of an athlete. He also had the interception for a touchdown. So he had a whale of a game.
Yeah, he really did. And we talked about it earlier. I said, you look at the stats, but if you throw in the probably nearly 300 yards they had in kick returns, that right there is your difference. I mean, that's the whole difference in the game.
Yeah, it was. I didn't print it off, I don't think. Maybe I did. It was kickoff returns.
That doesn't. Yeah, that stats didn't look right.
Yeah, it says the long for kickoff returns for Columbus Grove was 29 yards. That is incorrect.
Yeah, because it was like 97 yards.
Yeah, 97 and 84 were pretty much way longer than 29 yards. But we talked about this a little bit before when I dropped off the stats to you. We struggled defensively to make stops, but defensively, if you look at we did an adequate enough job to win this football game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you take away the kick returns and we win by 4 or 2 or 4, whatever it comes out to. But
you can't. You put a little preface to that. You don't know what that drive would turn into if they didn't return it for a touchdown, but you don't know because they did return it.
Yeah,
it's frustrating because we played offensively. We played a really good game of football.
Yeah.
I mean, we only had 17 yards of penalty yards.
Yep.
As did Columbus Grove. We both had 5 flags or 5 penalties for 17 yards of total yardage.
Yeah.
So relatively clean in the aspect of not a lot of yardage
Right.
being
Yeah. Well, and
being
Tate
taken.
had a whale of a game again.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, he was, out of the whatever almost 500 yards we had, he was personally involved in probably 120 or
300,
420 of those.
362 total yards.
Yeah, but so yeah, you can't put any digs on our offense. They came out and did a nice job.
Yeah, I'm looking here. He was 14 of 21. That's pretty respectable. He did
Yeah.
throw 2 interceptions. One was late, but the
Yeah.
one for the touchdown did hurt, but still not a bad job. 226 total yards passing. Then on rushing, he had 24 attempts for 136 yards,
Yeah.
4 touchdowns, 31 yards on the long for the run. So like offensively, we played good enough to win this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, usually if you can score 38 points in a game, you're gonna probably come out on top.
I do believe those words came out of your mouth at least once on Friday.
Oh yeah, probably maybe more. I don't. I plead the fifth.
Well, I'm looking. I mean, we spread the ball out really well. Offensively, we had 5 different receivers with catches.
Yeah.
3 of them with 50 yards or more. Kane Wright had 2 receptions for 51, who's playing on a bum ankle.
Oh my gosh, he's
and
still
still had 50 yards of receiving yards. Blaine Hill 3 catches for 62. Leighton Miller 4 for 89 yards. We did, and they're not. I mean, they're not overwhelming, but they were adequate enough and pretty
absolutely
well spread out to where.
Well, and every drive we had was pretty much a longer sustained drive. A little longer than what Bluffton's normally used to.
Well, I think
we don't
75 plays.
We don't run 75 plays a game.
And I'm guessing, and we'll talk to Coach Richards, that part of that game plan probably was we want to have as many plays as possible, kind of drain the clock, keep the ball out of Columbus Grove's offensive hands, and just keep driving on them. And that worked for the most part. Like that. Honestly, that worked.
Yeah, we had about 2 15-second things that didn't work out very well for us.
Yeah. And about 35 seconds worth of game time didn't go as planned, and that kind of shot ourselves in the foot. And so I guess from this, my overall takeaway is we still have a lot of work to do on our kick coverage. Our kickoff coverage is our glaring and most important thing, I think, that the Pirates need to clean up before we hit the playoffs this week.
And I'm sure Coach will tell us, and I agree that, that's the best place for your starters. You want all your starters in those kind of positions. And right now we are very short on skilled.
Short on starters.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah. Like nobody on the team is a starter anymore. It's like, I think you said your son told you that even. Or, nobody on the team is a freshman or anything. Everybody's a starter because you just don't know.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of frustration, but you know what? The nice thing, and I use the air quotes there, is we still have football to play this week.
Absolutely.
So, we're going to go ahead, take a quick break. We'll bring in Coach Richards. We'll talk about the game against Columbus Grove last week, and then also after the second break, we'll talk about this week's matchup. First week of the playoffs, and we're at home. So you are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Forget about those boring workouts. Jazzercise Bluffton brings the fire, loud music, big moves, zero apologies. This is more than fitness. It's strength. Mental and physical. We offer 10 classes a week. High energy, full power. Call 419-722-4427 for more information. Jazzercise Bluffton. Train strong. Live stronger.
Bluffton Auto Repair Center provides friendly, reliable service for all your hometown car needs. Call 419-358-1900. Bluffton Auto Repair Center, across the street from Stratton Auto Group on Main and Jefferson in Bluffton.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Fat Jack's Pizza in Lima, Ohio has 3 locations on West Street, Finley Road, and Spencerville Road to serve you. Family owned and operated, Fat Jack's offers great food options. Go to fatjackspizza.com for menus and more information.
Kira's Flipside Grill on Main Street in Bluffton offers a made-in menu, live weekly music, craft beer and cocktails, plus kids' meals too. Kira's Flipside Grill. Exceptional food, hip atmosphere, unique dining experience.
All right, we are back here on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We are joined, and Coach, you're going to have to unmute yourself since you muted. There we go. We are joined by Coach Jeff Richards. Coach, thanks for giving us some of your valuable time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, so this was a tough one because I've never seen a game be a 2-possession game, but the one team that lost outgained the winning team by almost 2-1 on the offensive side. What do you talk to your boys about after a game like that?
Well, it was clear where we fell short. And it wasn't a one person thing. It wasn't a one play thing. It was, we didn't get it done in a few areas that were obvious. Offensively, we were pleased. Moved the ball well. We were able to close to 500 yards of offense. That's a good night. Defense was able to get a stop. We made him punt. We did some things, but it really came down to, the 2 kickoff returns, and then the pick 6 didn't help. But, it was the right read. It was the right throw. It just didn't connect. But,
it was a good play by the defender.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
It really was.
And we've told them, in big games like that, little mistakes that they cost you big. And, with the kickoff returns, that first kickoff return they had for the touchdown, the ball rolls all the way to the 2-yard line and stops. And then he makes a great play with it. And, the second time, it's, you don't want to kick it to one person individually. And by chance, it ends up getting to that guy, even when you didn't want it to. And,
I think I even said, no, we didn't want to kick it to him. I think that was even something that came out of my mouth.
It's telling because earlier in the game we squib kicked it and it bounced off of somebody's foot and found a way to get to him too.
Right.
So
yeah.
And he's a great, he was specialist of the year in the conference for a reason.
Yeah.
He was first team all conference receiver for a reason. He's a first team all conference defensive back for a reason. He's a good player.
He really is. Yeah.
And, we didn't help matters though, because we gave him those opportunities.
Well, he was our Riley Creek Sportswear Player of the Game too. Didn't want to give it to him, but we had to because, good Lord, I think he's one whale of a player. But, what have you made adjustments, or are you thinking of doing some adjustments to the way the kickoff team does their coverage going forward? Then,
oh, absolutely. In reality, and that's part of the frustration was he had 2 really great returns, but it wasn't like the floodgates just opened. We had opportunities to make tackles and didn't.
Yeah.
And that's what hurts even worse is when you have to execute, and we didn't execute. And some of that is, some of that's a situation, and others that, as coaches, we look at it and we're, what do we need to tweak? What do we need to change? But, at the end of the day, it's a competitive game, and, one team's going to end up on top. And unfortunately for us, we played as well as we did in some areas, but, fell short in others.
Even though we gave up 2 touchdowns, we still had 2 really good plays by our kickoff team when we recovered 2 onside in a row.
Yeah.
to get things going again. So, yeah, it's just like bad luck, I guess, on those returns that he actually found a spot to get all the way down. But
Yeah.
Well, and I made the comment that if we take away those two returns, we're 4 points ahead. But you honestly, you don't know what happens on those drives. They have a lot of weapons that they were at points. I'm not saying that they were. We held them pretty good, well in check. But at times they were perfect on fourth down. We just couldn't stop them on the fourth down, and did you say anything to them at the half, the guys at the half, of we just got to make stops, because the only thing that stopped them in that first half was the halftime.
Yeah. Well, and that was kind of the thing we had told them all week was, we know what our offense can do. We've proven that, we've averaged over 40 points a game all season. And a lot of it is going to come down to, can we get the ball back, and can we not get, limited? And it was at halftime, it was clear, we had given up a kickoff return for a touchdown, and we had given up a pick six.
Yeah.
And really the only time we got stopped in the first half was on that pick six. And then towards the end of the half, we were trying to run out the clock and had some issues.
Right.
We had guys playing out of position because one guy was dinged up a little bit more than we wanted him.
Yeah.
But, with that, it really comes down to, the kids at halftime, they know where they're struggling and where they need to improve. So there wasn't a lot we had to necessarily fix. It was more of refocus and make sure we emphasize what we needed to get better at in the second half. And I thought defensively, we did play better in the second half.
We for sure did.
But it doesn't help when, you go out, you drive down, you score, you got momentum. Now it's a closer game, and then you give up a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right back on the offense.
And I love having
seconds later.
I love having the offense on the field, but it's not when you want it, is after you give up something like that.
The only reason you want it that quickly is if you forced a turnover on that kick.
Absolutely.
Have you ever run 75 plays before, you think?
We were talking about that. It's been a long time since because when you're a run heavy offense, you're not going to get that many plays because the clock's winding more.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'd have to go back, and I've got files from teams back in my generation and even further. And 75 plays for a high school team in a 48-minute game. That's a lot of plays.
Yeah, to me, that was just unimaginable. When I saw the number, I just could not believe it. I've never heard of that many plays on one side.
Yeah, that's rare for a high school game.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, was that kind of a little bit of the game plan, was to try to keep their offense off the field as much as possible and try to eat up enough clock to keep them off?
Not so much to keep them off. We knew we needed to sustain drives. We knew they weren't going to let us have the big runaway touchdowns because we've done that so well that they weren't going to give us the deep ball. So we had to, dink and dunk down the field, and we did a good job at that. I was really pleased with the efficiency of the offense. I thought in the run game, our offensive line played significantly better than where they've been in previous weeks, and I think part of that is those young guys in that O-line are starting to mature and starting to find success. And I also, my coaching staff did a great job prepping because Columbus Grove did some things that we didn't see a lot from other teams with how they do things with their defense.
Well, 75% on third down is pretty impressive too, especially against a defense such as Grove.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of our hardest statistical, goals is to be 75% on third down because it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. Right. I just want to throw this out there too, because I know you're not ever going to say a word, but that was maybe possibly some of the worst officiating I've ever seen in my entire life.
Not the reason we lost. Not the reason we lost.
On that, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, how about this, Coach? Him and I will talk real quick because I saw personally, and I don't necessarily try to look for the penalties, but when I see 4 of them blatantly not being called, I'm blown away by how somebody could miss some of those calls. So you can sit there, blink if you agree. No, it's not the reason why, but
No, but I'm just throwing that out there. That was pretty sad. Really was.
Yeah. Absolutely. But you know what? The great thing is, like I mentioned in the last segment, is at least for this for last week to this week, we've got a game to play still, even though we
absolutely.
lost. So we're going to go ahead. We'll step away, take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk to Coach about our opponent this week, because I know about this much and my fingers are together, about Western Reserve. And the Roughriders come into Bluffton on Friday for round 1. So we'll talk to Coach about that. You are watching the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
With 27 years of experience and attention to detail, Angels Flooring provides many flooring services. Call 419-302-7151 for more information. Angels Flooring, serving Bluffton and surrounding areas since 2009.
Grove Systems in Bluffton is hiring for its 2026 apprenticeship class, where you attend road states for 2 days and train at Grove for 3 days during the week. Program covers tuition and pays you for 40 hours. Go to joingrove.com/apprentice for more information.
Axe Ventura is open every Thursday through Sunday with locations in Findlay and Bellefonte. Walk-ins are welcome, but reservations are recommended. Visit axeventura.com to book today. Axe Ventura, family-friendly fun focusing on the axe experience.
Lounge Media Group is a multimedia company that provides internet, radio broadcast, radio, and podcast services. Go to loungemediagroup.us for more information. Lounge Media Group, big city quality with a hometown price.
Welcome back to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Coach Jeff Richards joins us, and we're ready to talk playoffs week 1. We the Western Reserve Roughriders come in to take on the Pirates. Coach, like I said before, I know next to nothing about this team. I know they're 8-2. I know my son came home and said that they are very similar to maybe like an Allen East or something like that. But let's get your viewpoint of what Western Reserve brings in.
Yeah, Collins Western Reserve is kind of north central Ohio, kind of east of Norwalk and Huron, up near kind of that area.
So they get to travel a ways to us.
They've got a long drive. They've got about a 2-hour drive to get here. They're in the Firelands Conference. I think they split the conference title this year with Monroeville. Solid team defensively. They've been stout. They've shut out their last 4 opponents. I think they have 5 or 6 shutouts on the year. I mean, they've played really good football. Stylistically, their offense is similar to kind of what Allen East has run in the past. Personnel-wise, they're different. They've got a big, strong running back. Have had 2 quarterbacks throughout the season. Their main starter was injured early in the year and came back, later in the year, and he's a good-sized player. Defense-wise, they run a similar defense to what we run. Up front, they're pretty physical. So, I mean, they're definitely, I think, a good matchup for us here in the first round. It's definitely a game where, you look, we're both 8-2. We both have, both of us, our 2 losses are to teams that are really good teams that, they lost to Monroeville and Margaretta. And Margaretta is the 1 seed in our region. So that's 2 teams that, have played really tough competition. So, I think for us, it's a team that it's kind of refreshing because we have 0 common opponents at all.
Right.
And most of our common opponents don't match up. So it's really, we're both kind of flying blind other than the 3 films we've traded with each other.
Right.
And they appear to be a really well-coached team too, in a lot of different facets of the game.
Are they more of a running ball control team, or do they like to air it out a little bit?
Well, it's hard to gauge off of 3 games. but we do analytics and stuff like that, and they are 50% pass and 50% run.
Of course they are.
It's very hard to choose on
Wow.
that.
Well, coming into playoffs, I know a win last week on top of beating Grove and getting a conference share of the conference championship probably would have gotten us a bye week. But that's not happening. We're playing, and was there any sort of preparation for the guys to say, hey, you know what, we've got some injuries still, we've got a tough, because the week off would have given some injuries a chance to heal up a little bit. We've next man up, let's rock and roll on this.
A big thing for me is I was looking for weeks at kind of probabilities and stuff, and we weren't really guaranteed a bye even if we won on Friday. So
right. And I'm just saying that the possibility was there.
Yeah. So we were really expecting to have a short turnaround like typical. And buys, there are positives to them and negatives to them. I mean, you see in NFL before playoffs, teams that get buys and then they underperform because they had a week off and it got them out of their routine. So for us, it would be nice to be one of those top 4 seeds, of course. However, it is what it is for us. I think we thrive kind of in an underdog role sometimes of, we're coming off of a loss. People want to see, if we're going to fix those things. So our guys play with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder when they're coming off of a disappointing game like that. Especially, when I look at those guys in the eyes after that game and on Saturday morning, and everybody knows what happened. Everybody knows it wasn't a game where we felt that we didn't belong there. We knew we fell short, and that's something that we had to get that taste out of our mouth quick and get focused. But the kids have responded. Our practices have been really good this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brand new season.
Yep.
Regardless of what happened last week. So yeah.
So the one positive from playing this week is we still host a game. Game. We have a home game. What are you? Will you have any sort of conversation with, because there's a slim chance we have one more later, but it's not a great chance. Any conversations with those seniors about, hey, this is your last go round? I know senior night happened. That's what that celebration was for, because we're not guaranteed.
Yeah.
But right now, this is pretty much your last time. Let's go out on top.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of emphasize that all season with, we guarantee them 10 games. After that, it's up to them.
Yeah.
We guaranteed them 5 home games. After that, it's on them. And we've done enough to get an additional home game. And I think Harmon Field is definitely, it's a definite advantage for us. You look at our track record the past 3 years, I think we're 18-1 at home.
Right.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a lot. I think it's something where, it's coming to Harmon Field, especially playoff wise. We've had a lot of success. And the guys know it's kind of an advantage for us to be, rolling in there and having our home field crowd there. They get to, have their typical home game after school routine where they raid Subway and everybody's got their subs and they don't have to worry about rushing right after school, which is always big.
Right.
Plus the field runs east-west, and the sun. Well, it won't be as bad this week, but goodness gracious, that sun! Woo. Okay, so what area is it? The kick coverage, the one thing that you worked on that was utmost important to work on, or did we have all facets we were working on with most importance?
Oh, it's by far, it's all facets. I mean, it's, offensively, our offense has had a lot of success, but it has by far not been perfect.
Right.
We've had a lot of success because we've got some really good athletes. And, I've told the offensive line repeatedly, we've got good athletes that are going to make you guys look good, and sometimes you're going to have to make them look good. But if you do your job, more times than not, you're going to not be the one in trouble because they're going to bail you out. And we've had that, Tate made some amazing plays on Friday.
Oh my
Yes, he
goodness,
did.
yeah.
And that's, sometimes we're going to credit the offensive line, and I think more times than not, they don't get the credit they deserve. But there's been other times where we have a big play, and I tell him he bailed the O-line out on that one. But then
I think I said something similar to that one time. I said, "Well, Tate's halfway down the field." I said, and his offensive line's still turning around looking to see where he went.
Well, and they've learned to this point in the season that they can't stop in the middle of a play,
right?
He's going to do something.
Yeah.
But and defensively, it's always an emphasis, especially. We're getting new opponents, and we don't know these teams. We can't really tell how physical they are on film.
Right.
You can see how they look against other teams, but if you haven't played those other teams, you can't get a real bearing on how physical they are or how big they are. We had games earlier this season in our non-conference schedule where on film, a team we were playing looked really big physically. And then we saw them in person and we were like, wow, those guys aren't very big. So it's kind of hard just by going by film. So we really have to overemphasize responsibility football. And that starts with how we practice. Special teams, they've heard a lot about doing their job. Definitely this, and it's been overemphasized, but that's something in reality, we overemphasize that every week. And it's been that way since I've been the head coach here. It's just, some games, something falls off and it doesn't quite get there. And we got exposed in a couple areas by Grove and we were, we can learn from it.
Yeah. Well, we're at that point. Which of your three keys is the utmost important key for winning against Western Reserve on Friday?
I think it's up front. From looking how their offensive and defensive line has done this season, I think our offensive line needs to establish the run and be able to protect in the pass. And then defensive line needs to keep our linebackers from getting blocked. And I think that puts us in a good position.
Well, we've got a couple of all conference and honorable mention second teamers on those lines. So definitely capable of doing a lot of good things for the Pirates on Friday.
Oh yeah, definitely. Congratulations to all the young guys that received conference honors.
Well, Coach Jeff Richards, big game on Friday. Cannot wait to see the Pirates back in action and how they bounce back from a tough game against Columbus Grove last week. But let's go on the road for the second week because that means we won week one.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's show them what Northwest Ohio football is all about.
There we go. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. JW and I will wrap things up here on the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Riley Creek Sportswear in Bluffton provides embroidery, screen printing, letter jackets, and more for any size group. Call 467-204-8621 for more information or a quote. Riley Creek Sportswear, your small town, family-owned sportswear connection.
Blanchard Valley Health System isn't just a hospital. We are an integrated health system providing comprehensive care in Northwest Ohio. For more information, please visit bvhealthsystem.org. Blanchard Valley Health System. We're here for you.
Southgate Lanes of Bluffton is open to the public and offers plenty of fun with sand volleyball, craft beer, and obviously food. Southgate Lanes, south of Bluffton on Main. Food's so good, you'd swear it's a restaurant.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm agent Jason Cox can help you bundle your home and auto insurance today and save money with a State Farm personal price plan. Jason Cox State Farm. Go to jasonismyguy.com for more information.
Pirates look good on the gridiron, and Eikenberry Landscape keeps Bluffton looking good off the field. Design, install, maintain. With a great team and great clients, we get the job done. Call 419-205-0759 for more information or a quote. Eikenberry Landscape Company, proudly serving Pirate Country for all your landscaping needs.
Hey, neighbor.
You're listening to Bluffton Pirates football on the Lounge Sports Network. Later, Gator. See you at church.
Welcome back to the Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show here live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Wrapping things up here for playoffs week 1, JW. Coach he wasn't happy about things that went on, but he also didn't let it or against Columbus Grove, but he also he wasn't happy with it, but at the same time, it's time to move on. Let's get ready for Western Reserve this week.
Yeah, I mean, it happened. If it happened, it happened, and you sure can't change it by dwelling on it. We just try to improve and make sure we stress the importance that this is where it all starts here.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they've adjusted that very well this week.
Yeah, I'm sure that coach and the rest of the staff have. Like he said, they've heard, the special teams have heard, do your jobs.
Yeah,
not in a bad way. It's reiterating. Look, like you said, it literally starts with you guys.
Yeah.
If you let up a big return, that gives the opponent momentum because they're starting their drive further than what they should be, and it also puts your defense kind of back on its heels and makes it a little bit more difficult to bend but don't break.
Yeah, and that was the biggest problem Friday night, because even though they scored 2 touchdowns, but there was 2 or 3 other times where they started out almost midfield.
There was once they started in
on the
plus
other
territory.
Side.
Yeah.
So when you give a good team like Grove the ball around midfield, it's not going to turn out real well usually.
Yeah, and so I to me, this is the key for me, other than the controlling of the line of scrimmage that coach gave us. We've got to make sure that our special teams is clicking and getting placed. You know what? If you've got to make it a game to where whoever get the most points or whatever, and you don't have to you get out of some sprints or something the next week or whatever if you guys with a win, that's fine, whatever it takes right now, because right now there's no stupid plans right now, or stupid incentives. It's you win or you go home. So
absolutely.
This week is very important for that factor, obviously, because you're in a playoff now. You win or go home, and it has to start with the special teams. It has to start with kick return.
Yeah, and however the outcome of the game is, I just want these boys to finish their career, if that would happen, just knowing that they did the best they absolutely could do. Because if not, that's going to eat at them for years.
Oh yeah, and for the rest of their natural life, because,
probably yeah.
But if to where it's like, wow, I just didn't put enough into it. I'm not saying any of our seniors are doing that.
Oh no,
I'm just saying you just don't want
toughest.
that. You don't want that to nag on you. So
sure.
You go out, do your absolute and penultimate best. You can't be disappointed in you can be upset that you lost, but not disappointed in how you performed. So
you can only do what you can do.
That's right. You can only control the things that you can control.
Right.
I know that sounds so silly, and it absolutely does, but it is absolutely, you can only control those things that are within.
There's a lot of adult people in our nation that could live by that a little bit.
They seem to fall short on that as well, understanding that as well. But when it comes to this season, this has been a fun season because
it really has.
Watching not fun because we've had the injuries, but because we've had the injuries, we've been able to see what we've got in store coming in the future as well, which is still a pretty darn bright future going forward.
Yeah, I think too. I think Bluffton football is gonna be up there for a while. I mean, I think the whole culture has changed back to the way it was years ago, where everybody just wanted to be a pirate, and they wanted to be part of it from midgets all the way up. So
Well, it takes a coach and a coaching staff.
Oh yeah,
to develop that and instill it.
Yeah, and at all levels
we've
too.
got
You know,
right
and the fact that they all work together so well.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
I was just actually talking to somebody about that because Joe's team, the JV, played in the Super Bowl. They fell short, losing to Grove 14-8 in the championship in the Super Bowl. But I also I was talking to I don't remember who it was that I was talking to. I said, but this shows how good the program is when our third and fourth graders are operating in a system that is essentially, it's not the in-depth system that our high school goes through, but it is very much the same. The terminology is the same, and that can do nothing but help when those kids get into the next levels.
And I'll tell you, for those young kids like that, they still run some pretty complex stuff.
Oh, sure.
At that age. So I think the future's just looking up. We just got to keep the kids out, and years like this keep everybody pumped up and ready to go again. So
for sure, playoff football is so fun.
Yeah,
there's always that edge of, oh goodness, if we trip up, we're done for the season. But hey, we've got a team. We have a really good football team. I will still stand by my statement that I made early in the season is if we play the game that we are good at and we limit our mistakes and whatnot, there are few teams that can beat us.
Right. Yeah.
That
absolutely.
goes, and I will even take it even a step further. And if anybody wants to send this to Grove, and I'll be happy to back this up, that includes last week. We did not play our best, and we lost by 10 points.
Right.
We still outplayed those kids or that team.
Well, the offense, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so, even Grove, who's the conference champion, couldn't play with us if we played at our best. Just period. Yeah. It's just it's a difficult team with the facets to have to defend, and then when our defense is on, we're a scary team.
Yeah. Well, we hope to just get right back to that this week.
Absolutely.
And, we'll all be happy.
Absolutely. Well, that I'll get off my soapbox there. But that wraps up to this week's Bluffton Pirates Coaches Show here live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. 2 more sleeps, JW. 2 more sleeps, and we've got playoff football at Harmon Field on Friday night.
Yeah.
We will start all of the pre-kick festivities with the Grove Systems of Bluffton kickoff show. Then we will have X's and O's with Coach Richards, sponsored by Jason Cox State Farm. And then wrap up all the pre-kick festivities. We will have the Kira's Flipside Grill pregame show that then leads us, JW, into playoff football.
Yep, game time.
Yep, Western Reserve Roughriders come into Bluffton to take on our Pirates. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Our pre-kick festivities start at 6:05, and we'll take you right all the way through the final. Well, it used to be a gun, and I know we mentioned this before, but when all the
buzzer,
the zeros, when the zeros hit the scoreboard in the fourth quarter. But
hey, hang on, people. We might have another 5 games here. So.
Hey, you know what? I'm all for doing 5 more coaches shows after this.
Sure.
And going to Canton, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, if we're eating turkey in Canton, that's okay.
I'm happy with that. But thanks so much for joining us this week, and we will talk to you all on Friday.
See y'all. God bless.